Okay, readers, so welcome to session 5 of our fantasy unit. And today our focus is going to be thinking about themes and life lessons. So, yesterday you talked about and thought about the inner struggles for your fantasy characters. Okay, and we give an example of Percy Jackson and the Lightning Thief. Today we're going to add another layer of that. Okay, and we're going to be talking about themes. Okay, so the theme or the life lesson. So that'll be our focus today. So I don't know if you remember or if you're a Harry Potter fan, but when the last book came out, remember this? I read, could not put it down. I think I stayed up all night reading because I wanted to know what happened, what was going to happen. And what happened is the plot. What happens in a story is a plot. Now, when I first read through, I didn't really think deeply about what was the life lesson he learned. But when I went through and read it again, I was able to do that. Now, it's a little easier if we combine that and do it together as one. So, if you think about even the new Star Wars movies, I don't know if you've seen them. It's The Last Jedi, The Rise of Skywalker, and The Force Awakens. Okay, The Rise is the last one. I know William has seen them. I don't know who else, but if you haven't, go and see him. But that even talks about some life lessons learned. Okay, so if you think about the one side is Kylo Ren and the Stormtroopers, and on the other is Rey and the Resistance. And it's saying you don't have to. The life lesson is you don't have to be a Jedi to learn from Rey about how hard it is to struggle against evil and to be strong. And what's great about a lot of fantasy reading is that it's already a plot of good and evil most of the time. So we're going to just dig further. And a way we do that is by asking ourselves some questions. So one of the first questions we ask is, how do the characters respond to trouble? Okay, how do the characters respond to trouble? Okay. Another question is, what lessons can we learn from how the character responds? So what lessons are we going to learn from how the character responds to that? Okay, and then lastly, another thinking piece is, what lessons does the character seem to learn and how? Okay, so if I'm using my example and the book we're reading aloud, which is The Lightning Thief, Percy Jackson, you see I already have tabs to mark down my notes, is what I do is I'm thinking about these aloud, and what you can do is you can continue to think about them aloud, and then you want to write them in your writing notebook. So for this, how do the different characters respond to trouble? So I'm thinking in this, Percy responds to trouble by pushing through his fear, often to help others. So even though he's scared, he responds to trouble by still going forward. A lesson, okay, when I'm thinking what lessons can we learn from the character, a lesson that I can learn or we can learn from this is that sometimes we have to do something to help others even though it may scare us, even when it's the right choice, okay? And what lessons does the character seem to learn and how? So again, Percy learns this lesson, for example, from the book when he saw his mom get vaporized by the Minotaur, and he was determined to not let the same fate or thing happen to Grover, okay? So he took action to help others even though he didn't know the consequences, okay? So that was the how and the lesson he learned. So when you are reading today, what I want you to do is in your fantasy book, read for 25 minutes and then write down your thoughts on these questions. This is how you're going to think about themes deeper. It might look like this. This is how I did it in my notebook, okay? I'll put a link to this example. You don't have to use special colored pens. You don't have to use Post-its. Use what works for you, okay? You're all doing really great thinking work. Keep it up. And then for your assignment, you'll take a picture of your notebook what you've written and then submit it to here. Okay? I will see you for the next session.